Welcome back to an exciting episode of Cyber Defense TV. This is the very first time on Cyber Defense TV that I've had two guests at the same time, and it's going to be exciting, interesting, and I think we're going to learn a lot. So I have brought today Charlie from IBM, and he'll tell you what he does. I hope. It might be a secret. It's about security. And Jeff from Dow. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So what do you do? What are you doing in a nutshell at IBM?
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. In charge of SAP cybersecurity, we actually go around advising clients on how to secure their SAP environments, which are the critical and crown jewels of companies out there.
Now, SAP is deployed worldwide. Dow is an SAP user?
Yes,
And you have thousands of employees leveraging this?
we do have thousands of employees
So
globally.
ERP is important, right? You need this system. SAP helps you be productive, but it's not secure inherently. Is that the story? Typically, an SAP environment needs something to secure it.
Absolutely. Any software that's out there that companies go ahead and implement, there are ways to implement it correctly, have the right configurations, security controls applied to it, privacy in mind, data crown jewels. Sometimes during implementations, a lot of those controls are left behind in a rush to get the solutions live and running. And so we typically go around advising clients on these SAP best practices, security best practices, if I may. And we do find there are some holes that are out there, and we advise clients to actually go ahead and apply controls to mitigate the risks out there.
And so, Charlie, you're helping Dow as kind of a cybersecurity friend and partner.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Jeff, how did you find him and how did you get his help? What does IBM do for you guys at Dow?
Yeah, well, if I can build on Charlie's comments first, SAP ERP platforms are no different than any other platform, application, or database, right? They have default built-in accounts and services and things out of the box that have to be hardened and configured and patched. So SAP has a patch window every month now, just like Microsoft has.
Patch Tuesday or Patch Wednesday?
Now, it's equivalent, right? So vulnerabilities are being found in the application code, in the ABAP and Java code. They inform the public, they release a fix. It's up to the company to go implement that fix, though.
So you come in and help Dow out, and you can't do it alone. You use certain tools from IBM and partners of yours?
Absolutely. Anything we always try to partner with the best products that are out there. If they are not built and grown within IBM, we look for the best partner, best solutions out there. In this case, also we look for the best partner out there, Onapsis in this instance, and we helped deploy that. We saw the risk out at Dow. They acknowledged and recognized the need for a fix, and we used technology and IBM services on it.
So you go to a big trade show like RSA or Black Hat, there's hundreds and hundreds of vendors. I've only heard of one, maybe there's competition, but Onapsis, who has the full stack of securing an SAP environment. And we're talking about dealing with the vulnerabilities and patching configuration management and the risk of exploitation.
Absolutely, and to add to that, not only that, but also code scanning. And just take it as instance, you buy a software, every company is different. Every company has different processes. So you end up customizing, a little bit, sometimes all of it. And what that introduces is a lot more risks, a lot more avenues where mistakes can happen when you're configuring and designing your solutions. So risks can come in once the implementations are done. You guys talked about the patch management process. Companies sometimes take 6-8 months to implement some of the patches that are out there. So the risk is out there. It increases over time as new vulnerabilities get introduced in these solutions, and that's where you see these opportunities to mitigate this risk using the best technologies that are out there.
And Jeff's a serious security guy. Dow is a big company. I don't think he ever wants to have a breach on his hands. Am I correct?
That's correct.
But they happen.
They do happen, and you still see SAP vulnerabilities that are in the teens of years old. Companies
Really?
being compromised on vulnerabilities that are over 10 years old. So, we have the industry is starting to deliver enterprise class tool sets to protect SAP. You still have your basic blocking and tackling like patching that can undo a all of those advanced controls. So it's still very important.
Do you deal with issues where, I'll call it time-based security, right? There's a lot of people talk about the window vulnerability, and you just talked about some of them being years old. We've heard from folks like FireEye, oh, we can tell you the latest breach is down from 278 days to 80. That's 79 days and 23 hours too long. You get breached, but really it's about the data theft, right? So we're all getting exploited. I'm learning that some of the attack vectors are really multi-pronged now. There's a new one in email, by the way, where the phishing attack is text only. Are you in the office right now? And it looks like it came from your boss, and then you respond, and then they know something about you.
Sure.
So it's getting so complex out there, and we really have to secure it. Is these windows of vulnerability, it's a big deal with SAP, right? And you really want to shrink it in your environment as tight and small as possible.
Yeah, that's correct. Having transparency to the data in an ERP system and an ERP platform, that's critical. So automated tool sets, near real-time monitoring, alarming of the most sensitive areas of your business and certain transactions in the ERP system that you're really conscious of monitoring. Without that, I would say the likelihood of detecting an attack, your normal cybersecurity operations, would be very, very low likelihood.
So a normal environment, you do all this computer hygiene, right? User training, you do all these things, but now you might have a complex SAP application environment where you're not sure if you didn't have Onapsis and IBM's help, where do I patch and where's the highest risk and how do I tighten or shorten those windows of vulnerability?
Yeah, I would say a comprehensive security strategy for ERP, like we treat our perimeter networks, like we treat our endpoints, like we treat other hosts on our network. The ERP system should be the same, right? So in industry, however, I think we're just now getting there, right? The threat landscape's changed. We've now saw there are bad actors going after SAP systems, going after intellectual property. All three pillars of the CIA triad are in play here: confidentiality, integrity, availability. Again, these are enterprise class applications. They run companies. Most big companies run SAP.
You can't afford downtime.
You just can't afford downtime.
And the bigger you are, the harder you fall. And you guys are both of you guys are pretty big.
Absolutely.
So when did you meet and get rolling on this, and how long did it take to start to get this SAP environment secure?
I think IBM and Dow have had decades old partnership. However, this particular instance, I would say 2 years ago, where we had the opportunity to showcase some of the risks that we see around the world. We brought it to their attention, and they opened, welcomed us with open arms, pretty much you can say. Why? Because they saw some news elements, they saw the US Department issuing the CERT alert, first ever CERT alert for SAP application, and now actually they have issued a second one. So the awareness was there. When we brought it to their attention, they actually wanted to see how that would impact Dow, those risks, and they allowed us to perform an assessment and let the facts do the talking, and whatever was found, they were very quickly able to address using our services and solutions. And kudos to Jeff and his team for recognizing that and being on top of it.
So Jeff, you are a man of vision and foresight. You got ahead of the curve on this problem. IBM came in to help you.
Yep.
How's it going now? How do you feel? Is it still we got to deal with this risk every day, or as you said, once a month patch with SAP?
Yeah, it was a multi-pronged factor again for us to look for an enterprise class solution to help us manage compliance and security for ERP, right? So it's been a lot of manual, heavy lifting, trying to obtain good compliance and secure systems. So having a tool set, certainly there's continuous opportunities, improvements. The products we're using today keep getting better and better, and so that's good to see for the industry.
Did you train him on the Onapsis dashboard and handed it off, or do you guys still help manage it?
Great point. Now, Jeff's a quick learner. He literally knows the dashboard in and out. Yes, we would still like to help, but again, as opportunities evolve, obviously our job is to advise our clients, and we want to empower them. We want them to take full advantage of the solutions that are out there.
So some of our viewers are in universities and CISO roles and IT staff. They're in government agencies. We've got a lot of folks in big companies who are watching this interview or listening on the podcast. What one key point would you guys each, we'll start with Charlie, want to drive home, and then we'll close out our hot seat interview, because 3 seats and all these lights, it's pretty hot today.
Absolutely. So one point I drive across is traditional security doesn't work anymore. What security controls we have put in place 30, 40 years ago need to change. Just to give you an example, home phones at home, with the wires and those rotary dials, they had different controls. Then we moved on to those Nokia phones, and then now the iPhones and the Samsungs and the smartphones.
It means
so we
supercomputers
exactly right
in our pocket that we can't get rid of.
Exactly. Same thing has happened on the software, on the technology side, right? If we apply the same controls we did 30, 40 years ago, they don't work. Simply don't work. Just looking at user roles, just looking at who did what on the systems, segregation of duties, those are absolutely necessary controls. Governance, risk, and compliance is absolutely necessary. Don't overlook the cyber layer. Don't overlook malwares, rogue nations attacking. Those kind of risks should not be overlooked. You need to have a comprehensive cybersecurity program to safeguard.
That's great advice. And Jeff?
Yeah, building on what Charlie said a little bit, this is risk management 101 to me. ERP platforms are, without a comprehensive security program, they will be compromised. There's enough data, there's enough incentive for bad actors. We've saw that in the industry now. It's been proven that SAP systems have been compromised. So, risk management 101, you really need to understand your business, where your most sensitive data is. It's going back to the security foundations.
You said CIA earlier, right?
Yeah, ERP is no different.
So confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the data.
Yeah.
And the data is the valuable asset, beyond our employees, of course.
Oh, sure.
And so you really want to protect those crown jewels, and you found a way to do it, even knowing that there was a lot of risk in SAP. So you took some risk, and you guys worked together, and you've solved a big problem. And my friends at Onapsis introduced me to both of you, so I want to thank them for that. And to bring you guys here on the hot seat, it's an honor. And I love IBM and I love Dow, and I'm happy we got together, and you've given some tips to our viewers that are really phenomenal. So thank you both.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you as well.
So we'll close out the hot seat. This is our first ever 3-person hot seat. It's really warm after 2 chairs. And come back to Cyber Defense TV for another exciting interview. Maybe we'll even have 4 chairs next time, with great people like Charlie and Jeff from IBM and Dow. Thanks again, and see you next time.